In the wisdom of our Midrash, there's a tale about King David, offering us profound insights about life. David, pondering his future, sought from God the knowledge of his final day. And God initially withheld this, for such foresight is not for mortals to have. Yet persistent in prayer, David was granted his request. He would pass on Shabbat. And the legend tells us David found peace in this knowledge. Why, one might wonder, did David find solace in knowing his end would come on Shabbat? Can the end of life, regardless of its timing, truly be a source of contentment? And our sages weren't suggesting that death itself is good, but rather imparting symbolic lessons. And the first lesson is the relentless march of time. Just as every work week leads to Shabbat, a day of rest, so too does every life journey. And to die on the Shabbat of one's life, according to our sages, is different from departing on the Sunday of one's life, like the week's start, before one's potential has been fully realized. Eileen Hersh passed away on Shabbat, both literally and figuratively. For she lived a life rich with love and family. She passed on lessons and values to her loved ones. She embedded her wisdom and love in the fabric of their lives. And her life was not a fleeting Sunday, but a fulfilled Shabbat. Within 2 days of her passing, before her passing, she spoke with every family member, each one knowing how loved they truly are. In Eileen's journey, we see a life brimming with purpose and kindness, a testament to living fully and leaving an indelible mark. Her passing, therefore, comes as the gentle close of a day well lived, a week of work well done. Eileen's life in all its stages embodies the essence of a Shabbat well celebrated, a life of fulfillment, of love, and peace.
As we learn in Kohelet, in the words of Ecclesiastes, a season is set for everything, a time for every experience under heaven, a time for dancing and a time for wailing, a time for birthing and a time for dying, a time for speaking and a time for silence, a time for seeking and a time for losing. The time of mourning is a complicated time, filled with many emotions and memories, both bitter and sweet. We begin our service with the 121st Psalm, a psalm that bids us to look up to the mountains. Eileen was a source of uplift to her family and to her friends, and her goodness will be a permanent marker in their lives, not unlike the lofty peaks of the mountains.
אשא עיני אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי, מעם אדוני, עושה שמיים, וארץ.
I lift up my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help will come from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth.
Al ייתן אמות רגליך. אל ינום שומרך.
God will not let your foot give way. Your guardian will not slumber.
הנה לא ינום ולא יישן שומר ישראל. אדוני שומרך, אדוני צילך על יד ימינך.
Behold, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Eternal is your keeper. Adonai is your shade at your right hand.
יומם השמש לא יככה וירח בלילה. אדוני ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך. אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך מעתה ועד
The sun shall not harm you by day, nor the moon at night. God will guard you from all harm. God will protect your being. Surely God will protect Eileen as she protected and looked after the well-being of her family and her community. Many a Shabbat morning, Eileen and Jerry came to be with us for services, anash, and kibitzing. Always a smile on her face, asking after everyone, sharing her immense pride in her grandchildren. She laughed and enjoyed herself. Her bright light will continue to shine, glowing in the hearts of all who knew her. Mourning is the price we pay for having the courage to love others. Even in grief, we know that the wonder of human life is too complex and too magnificent to be memorialized in endless pain. The gifts of spirit our loved ones gave us cannot be measured or weighed, nor can they be lost or even tarnished by time. Even in our darkest hours, we know that some of their light and their warmth will always be with us, bringing comfort and courage, and, in the fullness of time, healing and peace. Death has summoned our beloved Eileen Hersh, for her love which united us in life and which death cannot sever, for her companionship which we shared along life's path and which still continues through the tenderness of memory, for the gifts of her heart and mind which brought us joy and happiness and now have become a precious heritage of the Spirit. For all these and more, we are thankful. In this time of mourning, we listen to the voice of our sacred scripture that brings us the ever-new message of God's nearness.
Psalm 23.
Adonai ro'i lo echsar bino desh שירביצני. על מי מנוחות, על מי מנוחות, ינעלני. נפשי ישובב, ישובב, ינחני במעגלי צדק, ינחני במעגלי צדק, למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות, לא אירא, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני, לפני, שולחן נגד צורריי, דשנת ושמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. אדוני רואי לא אחסר, אדוני רואי לא
Eternal One, you are my shepherd, I shall not want. You make me lie down in green pastures. You lead me beside still waters. You restore my soul. You guide me in paths of righteousness for your name's sake. Even when I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. With rod and staff you comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup is overflowing. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in your house forever. An interpretive reading of Eshet Chayil. A woman of valor, a treasure rare, her worth beyond rubies, none can compare. Lacking in her, her husband's heart finds trust. Lacking nothing, in love they're just. She brings him good, not harm, all her days, with open hands to the needy in kind ways. Strength and dignity are her clothing fair. She laughs at the future, free from care. With wisdom, her words flow like a stream, her tongue with kindness, a constant theme. She oversees her home with grace, not idle, her love fills every space. Her children rise, blessings they bring. Her husband joins, her praises sing. Many women show strength and love, but you, my dear, soar high above. Charm may deceive, beauty fleets fast, but a God-revering woman forever will last. Honor her for all her hands have made. Let her deeds praise her in the sun's fade.
And the echo of this beautiful poem and these beautiful words that speak so closely to Eileen's goodness. It's meaningful to hear from her dear children and to call upon Fran, who will be followed by Barry, who will speak loving words of testimony for their mother.
Ani Lidodi, Vidodi Li. I am thy beloved, and thy beloved is mine. These beautiful words are typically spoken between the husband and wife, but could easily be transferred to the mutual relationships, love, and devotion she had with not just our father, her children, or her grandchildren, but really all of you here today. Just last week, I asked my mother why she had so many boxes of Frangos to hand out, and she said, "Well, you know, Franny, we are blessed with so many wonderful friends. There were the friends from years ago, the friends from the bank, who every other week walked Mother and Dad back out to the car on their bi-weekly visits. There was the friend at the Metro Market who saved Mother's challah every week. And there was her latest friend, a newly graduated registered nurse, Elizabeth, who started helping my parents with a few household things just 3 months ago. Elizabeth referred to my parents as her grandparents. Mother looked forward to her visits, and I always reminded her to be respectful of her time, as I believe conversations were also always filled with Mother bragging about her family, whether it be the inner circle or many of you who have no blood relations. Mother was a true Yeshes Chaya, a woman of valor, like the rabbi just spoke about. A few hours before her demise, she had family for Shabbat dinner and got her things ready for Shabbat morning services. The black torn ribbon that the immediate family is wearing signifies that we are mourning. But the reality is we know that you all feel the same sadness. We pray that the thoughts of Mother's kindness, her generosity and smile help provide bright light as we all continue on our own personal journeys. Thank you, Mom. 60 wonderful years. We love you.
What can I say about Mom? A few words I want to talk about is how she, in her loving way, installed upon the three of us as we were growing up a sense of lifetime values and commitments. She taught us to respect not only her and Dad, but all of our elders. And as Marty and Fran and I were growing up, we still had our grandparents with us, and that. She instilled upon us the importance of getting a very good education so that we could survive and thrive in life, and she wanted us to go beyond high school and to be able to do that, and all three of us did. With some of her and Dad's help, we all went to Madison and graduated from there with degrees, and then Fran went on the next step, and through a lot of help with Mom, she went to grad school and finished at NYU. She instilled in us a sense of good, loyal friendship, and that we need that as a support system. And all three of us in our own ways found that. Marty found Rick, Tim, and Gabe. Fran found Laura and Beth. And I found my college roommate Al, along with Steve Katz. And then as we were growing older and Mom was watching us grow and mature and graduate and continue our adult lives, she installed upon us as we started to fall in love a sense of finding yourselves a good life spouse. And all three of us were able to do that. Fran found Henry, Marty found Carrie, and I was able to find Linda, who was with me for 26 years until this past August. So 63 years of memories, it's hard to find, but I was able to stretch my mind last night and come up with a few. I think back to 1981, my freshman year in the dorms in Madison, and Mom and Dad took me up. And in those days, if you were going to go in the dorms, you went into what was like just a general pool. You didn't know who you were going to get for a roommate until almost that last day when you got there. So much to my and my family's surprise, when we got to my room on the 5th floor at Celery Hall, Enki Kwan comes out and says, "I'm your roommate." Enki Kwan was fresh off the plane from Malaysia. He spoke very little English, just enough to get him by. And he and I worked our way through our freshman year, and before we knew it, it was Thanksgiving break. And Mom was getting ready to, get us home for Thanksgiving, and her first thought was, well, what's this Enki gonna do? He's new to the country. He's never experienced winter or anything. So Mom, in all of her kindness and sense, she sent not one but 2 Badger bus tickets up to Madison so I could bring Enki Kwan home with us. And he experienced Thanksgiving, but more importantly, Mother didn't want him to be walking around in just a t-shirt and shorts. So we spent Black Friday weekend that year going around to all the stores and buying Enki Kwan winter clothing because Mother didn't want him to freeze his first winter in Madison. When we were kids growing up, like all kids, we wanted to have pets. But Mom wasn't the most pet-friendly person there was. So the three of us had to settle for goldfish and parakeets, things like that. But then along came my bar mitzvah and a friend of mine decided, let's give Barry a puppy dog for a bar mitzvah present. So lo and behold, this puppy dog comes home for my gift. Well, unfortunately, the puppy dog Mom didn't work out. So unfortunately, the puppy left. Fast forward a few years, and I'm working for my associate's degree at MATC at the Channel 10 and 36 studios, and we were doing the annual TV 10 auction that many of you might remember. One of the engineers' dogs had a litter. So puppy dog take 2. I brought home a puppy dog. And again, Mother was having a fit. You know how I feel about dogs. But I believe we named that dog Boomer, and Boomer lasted with us for a while. But then after I finished my associate's degree and I went on to Madison, couldn't take Boomer to Madison with me. And a few things happened, so Boomer was no longer part of the Hersh family. But now fast forward about 40 more years, and we're settled in with our spouses, and more importantly in this case, Linda and I had Bucky and Baby, a couple of cats, and Marty, Carrie, and the boys had Ruby, along with Bucky's sister, Stella. Well, if you could have seen a before and after picture, you never would have known. I mean, this little Yiddish mama would get on the couch, and Ruby would jump in her lap, and she would hug him and kiss him and pet him and play with him like you wouldn't believe. And then the same thing when she'd come over by Linda and I. She would sit on the couch, and Bucky and Baby would come and live up to her, and she would cuddle with them. So somehow in her ways, in her later years, she changed her attitude about pets, but that was from our childhood. I think 2 of my more fond memories of Mom that I'm going to take with me for the rest of my life happened just within the last several months. As many of you know, I lost my wife Linda back in August, and ever since then, rather than being concerned about her health or Dad's health, every time I talked to her on the phone or saw her, she was concerned about me and how I'm holding up in my time of mourning, and making sure that I was eating, making sure I was getting enough sleep, having me for dinners, going for dinners, and she was concerned, and more than herself. And then the last greatest, fondest memory I have of my mother was this past Friday night. I had some other plans initially, and they fell through. So I called Mom about 3 o'clock as I was getting out of work, and I said, "Still room for one more at the Shabbat table tonight?" And she said, "Of course, honey. You know when to come." And I did. And I will cherish that as my lifetime of memories with my mother and father till the day I die, that I got to spend her last Shabbat on earth with her. And I thank her for all these memories that she gave to myself and my siblings and our family. We love her dearly.
Thank you, Fran, and thank you, Barry. Those beautiful, beautiful memories of Eileen. Earlier, we recited the ancient poem, A Woman of Valor, or Eshetz Chayil. It's a revered poem that presents the portrait of an exemplary human being and a life of profound meaning. The woman of valor is her husband's closest partner and a nurturing mother. She manages her household while also shaping and engaging with the world. Her compassion reaches beyond her immediate family, embracing all those in need. And in spite of all the demands of day-to-day existence, she embraces life with an unwavering faith and a hopeful spirit. And some may believe this ideal is unattainable. Yet those who knew Eileen were fortunate to witness a living embodiment of an Eshetz Chayil, a genuine woman of valor. In many respects, her life mirrored the very essence of this ancient script. And for those reasons, and many more, we've gathered together this morning in remembrance to bid shalom to a loving wife, a caring mother, a beloved grandmother, a sister, a special friend to so many. We will all miss Eileen, for she was a very special woman, one who touched the hearts of so many near to her. And we've also come together today to bring comfort to those who feel this loss so deeply, to Eileen's dear family. And we especially extend our deepest condolences to you, Jerry. Your journey with Eileen began with a chance encounter, a beshert moment that blossomed into a lifetime of shared love and experience. From those early days when your paths crossed as Eileen assisted yours and her mother in a charitable event, and you walked in fresh from bowling with friends, that connection was undeniable. She, the vibrant young woman from just 2 doors down, captivated you, leading to that very first date. And the bracelet you gifted her at the Schrader Hotel, a locket holding your picture, symbolized the beginning of a journey not just of physical proximity, but of deep and soulful bond. Your lives intertwined in every aspect. Together you found joy in the couples' bowling leagues, savored the richness of music at Pop's concerts, and delved into the narratives at the Repertory Theater. Your bond was further solidified through your shared spiritual life, attending synagogue together, praying side by side, ascending to the Torah in unison, and enveloping yourselves in the warmth of your community. Eileen was more than a partner. She was your cornerstone, always there to uplift you, to challenge you towards becoming the best version of yourself. And the two of you were inseparable, a testament to the inseparable tapestry of love and mutual respect that you wove together. But the most touching and profound aspect was the daily love you shared, a love that transcended the ordinary and became a beacon for all who knew you. Jerry, the devotion you showed Eileen and the devotion she showed you stand as enduring testaments to a love that was deep and genuine and unwavering. In the tapestry of your life together, each thread represents a shared experience, a challenge overcome, a joy celebrated, and a sorrow shared. It's this rich tapestry that we honor today. And we extend our condolences to Eileen's dear children and to those she embraced as her own. Bury with fond remembrance of Linda of blessed memory, and Fran and Henry and Marty and Carrie, the loss of a mother, a figure so pivotal in our lives is deeply felt, regardless of our age. Eileen was not just a mother. She was a guiding light, loving and nurturing you with unyielding strength. You shared with me how even early on when you were children, even in times of scarcity, Eileen ensured that you lacked for nothing. Her creativity and resourcefulness turned simple outings into cherished memories, exemplifying her unwavering dedication to your happiness. The story of the circus trip with homemade popcorn and shared sodas remains a testament to her thoughtful and caring nature and making certain your lives were filled with blessings. What Eileen cared most about was that you were united as a family, and your togetherness was the center of your family's existence. Even as you found the people with whom you would spend your lives, Eileen's warmth and her embrace was always enveloping. As a mother-in-law, Eileen's heart shone through. Daughters and her son by choice always felt accepted in her unconditional love. She was there by your side, instructing you with her actions and her words, and you felt the pride she took in each of you. Eileen had so much to be proud of. She was proud of her children, the people her children loved. She was proud of her grandchildren and all that they valued, and she made no secret of it, for she wore her heart on her sleeve. And her love for family gatherings, be it a trip to Ireland, South Dakota, or Hawaii, or rallying together for football games and holidays, that showed the importance she placed on togetherness. Even during challenging times like the pandemic, all of you found ways to keep the family connected. As a mother, Eileen understood the role of helping to instruct you on how to live a noble and good life. She taught you to open your heart wide to the people who entered your lives, to love the stranger as yourself. For Eileen was one of the most welcoming and loving people you would ever meet. She taught you the profound meaning of family and of love. Eileen had a desire to always be connected and to be together as a family. The Hershes travel as a pack, others would say. And she also taught you to have a strong work ethic and to take pride in what you earned because you worked for it. I found it so meaningful that Eileen kept everything in her calendar. She noted events when family would be in or family would be away. She kept memories in everyone's schedules. Our calendars, how we spend our time, is a reflection of our values, and Eileen valued all of you. She showed you with gifts and with affection that she delved out in equal measure, making certain that nobody felt like they were less than. And there's so much of Eileen in each of you. You have her love of family, her love of cooking. You treat the people in your life with equal dignity. You have her warm and accepting ways and her embrace of the people that you meet, her ability to make it so that no one is a stranger for long. Her legacy is not just in memories, but in the very fabric of your existence, in the way you cherish and uplift those around you. And all those lessons, the love she shared, they form the foundation of who you are. Eileen's essence and her teachings and her love will continue to thrive through the generations. For Eileen was blessed to know and love her grandchildren, Jordan, Talia, and Ariana, Benjamin, and Joshua. And it's through you that your grandmother's life will continue. Each of you is blessed to share your own special relationship with your Bubby, and I know she loved each of you with all of her heart. Every Shabbat call, every daily talk, Eileen cherished these moments. She asked about your school, took pride in your successes, and lived vicariously through your college experiences. She was so grateful for all of your calls, filling your conversations with warmth and interest. Visits to her were never without a gift. Her home was like, as you called it, Bubby's little gift shop. Always something for you. Makeup, jewelry, apple juice, or the much-loved Mundel bread. She never let you leave empty-handed, ensuring you always had what you needed or wanted. Eileen passed on her Yiddishkeit, a rich heritage that she cherished. Each of you incorporated her values and ideals into your lives, and she celebrated the fine people you all are. And her own journey, becoming a bat mitzvah at an adult, was supported by Jordan's help with her Hebrew and prayers. It was a beautiful intergenerational exchange of learning and of love. The keys to her apartment that each of you held were more than just metal. They were symbols of an open heart and home. You could come and go knowing that you were always welcome, always expected, always loved. So loved, in fact, that she didn't even need to look at the call display when the phone rang. She just knew who was on the line. And now you represent her greatest legacy on this earth. And someday you will share the stories of her life with the generations to come, ensuring that the love, the lessons, and the laughter you shared with Eileen will live on. Her spirit, her love, her essence will continue through the stories you tell and the lives you lead, a lasting testament to a life beautifully lived. And we remember Eileen's bond with her brother, Segal. The shared memories and life experiences are so special, and we know that Segal is watching today. Their love is a testament to their enduring connection. The presence of so many of you here today is a sign of the love and respect you have for Eileen, and I'm certain it brings the whole Hersh family comfort. It's a loving testimony of the place in which you held her and her family in your hearts, and of the meaning all our lives have intertwined with hers. For Eileen loved everyone, and everyone loved Eileen. She had many old and lasting friendships, but she also wasn't afraid to let new friends into her heart. Eileen Hersh lived a blessed 87 years. She would always say she was blessed. It was a life marked by kindness, a beautiful smile, and her ability to make everyone in her presence feel loved. She attended North Division and then transferred over to Washington High School. This presented some challenges in friendship groups being formed already, but Eileen was always a positive and warm person. And later in life, she was one of the ones who worked hard to plan reunions to see old classmates. She then went on to attend Prospect Hall, where she specialized in secretarial studies. Professionally, Eileen first worked for the Jewish Home. She then worked for her dear friend Sharon at the Wig Store and then for Milwaukee Public Schools. And finally, she ended her career working once again with Sharon. Work alone never defined Eileen, for she was a family person, spending each Saturday, each Shabbat with her mother of blessed memory, attending shul and joining her for lunch. Eileen truly loved her family. Cousins were very important to her, and she continued to reach out, maintaining those powerful connections through gatherings and dates and phone calls, and always sending beautiful cards on holidays and special occasions. She was very loyal to the closest people in her life. Eileen and Jerry are shul mention. They're synagogue people. Their Jewish identity is central in their lives. Eileen was the sisterhood president at Menorah, and she raised money for Hadassah and the Jewish Fund, walking door to door. She participated in the wonderful Yiddish Club for many years, and even after the Yiddish Club ended, she would teach a Bisla Yiddish in her interactions, and many would learn Yiddish words and phrases from her. She would help with the mitzvot that we as a congregation would perform on Christmas Day, and she particularly loved reading to seniors. I can't understate how central Eileen was here at Congregation Shalom. Her warmth and her smile, the way she was so welcoming and caring for every person here is immeasurable. I would always love the way that Jerry and Eileen would close Shalom down at the Onegs late into the night at a table surrounded by friends, old and new, kibitzing until we had to go. I loved the way that they would share the beauty of simchas in her family life by claiming an aliyah of joy, sharing all the pride she had for her family, and sharing also the heartaches with an aliyah for strength amidst the sadness, and always stating, no matter how hard the events that would knock her down could be, how blessed she is that she's here. Outside of our sanctuary, the sanctuary of Eileen and Jerry's home is equally warm and welcoming because of their presence. Eileen fully embraced the ethic of Haknasat Orchim, to be welcoming and generous of spirit, believing in the most Jewish concept of there's always room for one more. It's meaningful that on the Friday night, the Shabbat of her passing, she lit the candles and served the chicken soup she made for Shabbos As you heard, she laid out her clothes and items for the next day to attend shul. People are very important to Eileen and Jerry. Each individual in their lives were treasured. You knew you were loved by them with the gifts of sweetness they would give you on the holidays or the gifts of the kind words they shared from their hearts. Goodbyes are terribly difficult. They were for Eileen too. I think because Jerry and Eileen so valued the people in their lives, in the best values of our tradition, Eileen would walk you to the door, kiss you goodbye, and wave from the window. I loved the way that when Eileen would say goodbye, she would pull you down to her face and give you a kiss on the cheek and tell you exactly how she felt about you. With words of affection, free with her words of love and caring, I will miss those goodbyes, what I started to think of as the Hershey kiss. It's hard for all of us to say goodbye now. Like Eileen, we linger in our minds, not wanting our time together to end and waving from the window of our souls. Perhaps speaking words that Eileen would often say to others, thank you, thank you, thank you. We will be forever grateful for the sunshine of her glorious smile, the way that she was a light for her family to guide their way, a woman who always did her best and who walked this earth like a warrior, who stood for what she believed in, who overcame whatever adversity stood in her way, and she did it with class, whose external beauty, her smile, eclipsed only by the beauty inside. Eileen leaves so much to the generations to come. She had a precious recipe box passed from 4 generations from her mother-in-law and now passed on to her children and grandchildren, ingredients for the recipes of family delicacies. But Eileen also leaves a recipe box with ingredients and directions on how to live a good life, to love deeply, to cherish family bonds, to offer hospitality, to live with integrity. And her lasting gift to us, as we cook from her recipes, we will remember her fondly, savoring not just the flavors of the food, but the richness of the love that she shared. Her presence will be felt at every family gathering, every community gathering, every Shabbat dinner, and every act of kindness we extend to others, just as she taught. So let us continue to cook from Eileen's recipes, both culinary and spiritual, and in doing so, keep her spirit forever woven into the fabric of our lives. The closing words of Eishet's Chayil are, place before her the fruit of her hands. Wherever people gather, her deeds speak her praise. The many deeds of goodness that Eileen Hersh performed will outlive her earthly existence, and the fruit of her hands, her children and friends and family have taken her values to heart, and memory continue to inspire all who knew and loved her. And that's why we close with the words of our tradition, Zichrona Livracha, that our memories of Eileen Hersh will continue to be a source of blessing. And may the source of peace and comfort to all who mourn among us. And let us say, Amen.
Time with her, Revelation you, what are you doing? What are you doing? Leave me alone. Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. You know, you should have. But how do you feel, Mrs. Phillips, after your big anniversary? She looked at me. She looked at me. What are you talking about? Look, you know, you got a new name now, Mrs. Phillips. What are you talking about? You're joking again. No, I'm telling you. What did we celebrate a couple of days ago? Our 66th anniversary. I said, yes, so Mrs. Phillips, 66. You're out of gas. And the people here that know me, it's a habit. So many times, right, Kozlowski, when she came to us, she would sit and listen very intently and with much interest and much love. Immediately, that was Eileen. You could be talking to some homeless person on the street who looked like a beggar. She'd be a friend of them in 2 minutes. She was that kind of a person. And there's never, ever another Eileen Hersh.
You're right, Jerry.
As much as I love my mother, she's the closest thing that anybody will ever taught me. And I could go on and on and on. 150 people come up and tell you stories. You won't hear one of them.
Jerry, that love, that connection, those friendships, that sweetness, that will always enrich all of our hearts, and particularly yours.
I can't thank you and your staff and everybody because this was your home of homes.
I know. And we will so miss her, Jerry.
Talk some more.
We will. We're going to take a moment now of reflection, but those words and sharing those stories, that's how we keep Eileen alive, in our hearts and in our minds. And we'll continue to share those stories and share those memories together. Adonai natan, v'Adonai lakach, yehi shem Adonai mevorach. God has given, God has taken away. Blessed be the name of God. Please take a moment of silence now as we remember Eileen. May the memory of Eileen Hersh endure among us as a blessing. In your own time, O God, when we too are called to enter eternity, may we leave this life secure in the faith that in your light we shall see light. In life and in death we cannot go where you are not, and where you are, hope endures. Sustained by this assurance, we invoke your name, Almighty God. At this time, it is a privilege to call upon her dear grandchildren, to call upon Jordan and Talia and Ariana and Benjamin and Joshi. I've got to say Joshi, because that's how she always called you Joshi. And Jordan is going to lead us in El Malei Rachamim, and we invite you all to rise now as we receive these sacred words.
El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamramim, Hamtzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei HaShechina, Im Kedoshim Uteorim Kezohar Harakia Masirim, Et Nishmar Chaya Kela Bar Yosef Esara, Shachal Yolama, Ba'al Rachamim Yastirei Beseiter Knafav Leolamim. ויצרור ברצרה חיים את נשמתה, אדוני ונחלתה, ותנוח בשלום המשכבה, ונאמר אמן.
compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant
perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Eileen Hersh, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen.
And just as we've called for Eileen to be enwrapped in the wings of the eternal, we know that she is enwrapped in the love of her dear grandchildren.
Friends, services will continue at Beth Medrash Gadol Cemetery. The address is 134 South Dana Court in Milwaukee. Following the service today from 5 to 7 p.m. and also tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m., family will be here at Congregation Shalom to receive friends and condolences. There will be a minion service conducted each evening at 5:45 p.m. We do have some directions located outside the sanctuary. There's also a QR code that you can scan to get the same information, directions, maps, etc. At this time, we ask everyone to please remain standing until the pallbearers and casket have left the sanctuary. We now ask the pallbearers to please come forward.
חיי אמיתי, מצב רב ונושיע.